We'll just go down and check if he's here. Hey, Rick.
Morning. We haven't set up yet.
Yeah.
Okay. How are you?
Good.
Good?
Can't talk, but good.
Can't talk. Oh,
Yeah.
because of your tooth?
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead, tell them to.
That's my part.
Is that parking? Yeah, we got a ticket yesterday up around.
No.
Yeah, not down here, but up around.
$46.
That's-
They've gone up.
Yep.
They should give you guys a break.
My name is Evanna Brennan. I'm a nurse in the Downtown Eastside.
And I'm Susan Giles, and I'm a nurse also in the Downtown Eastside. And our company is Action Based Care Nursing Consultants. Never really thought about being a nurse. Although looking back on it as a teenager, I read, it was a series called Sue Barton, was this red-haired nurse, and it was student nurse, graduate nurse, visiting nurse, whatever. I read all of them, and the visiting nurse one, it's interesting because the visiting nurse, it was the tenements of New York that she went to, there's a nursing service there, and that story stayed with me, and I think is maybe why I always wanted to get into community.
My mother was a home economics teacher, and my mum and dad split up, and that was quite unusual in Catholic Ireland at that time. And so she had a really hard time taking care of 3 children. We were in a boarding school, very costly in Dublin. And when I was about 17, I decided that I needed to earn money to help her out. So the only nursing program I could get into at that age was pediatrics. They were taking girls at 17. So I applied, and that was the start of my nursing career.
You and I, we kind of liked downtown, so we went down there.
So we were then permanently in the Downtown Eastside, and that was in the late 80s, early 90s, right?
Yeah. And then that's when then cocaine happened and everything really changed down there.
I will always remember it. I went to this young man who was with his partner in a nice house on McGill Street. He had had an abscess on the back of his neck. He was on antibiotics now for quite some time, like it might have been 5 or 6 days. And when I got there, I thought, oh no, there's something radically wrong with this guy. This abscess is much worse. He had a temperature, he was feeling sick. I thought, no, there's something terribly wrong. And that was my really first patient, and the horror of that. And the horror for this poor young man who had actually no idea. Mm-hmm. So that was my first experience with HIV and AIDS.
The epidemic happened like around us. We just happened to be there.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite well known that you really couldn't get it just by touching someone. So what we were doing was not going to make us get HIV.
The illness was so terrible. Yes. They were, everybody was so sick.
We were finally invited to go to the weekly AIDS care rounds, which was physicians in the community that had patients with AIDS attended these rounds. And I think it was Irene that invited us to these rounds because a lot of people were being discharged to the Downtown Eastside, but the discharge plan was so unreasonable because they didn't have their own bathroom or sink. So we started attending those rounds.
So that we could educate the physicians.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was really tough because you had to adapt your care to the environment where there is no clean towel, clean this, clean that, no sheets on the bed. So, and people were very, very sick, diarrhea, vomiting, all that stuff. So how did you manage that And that's when the scene down there became cheap cocaine, younger people running around, becoming infected mostly with dirty needles, right? And so the HIV, then the epidemic didn't shift, but it also included infectious IV drug users, and we were horrified. We would get these referrals, we were used to the old guys, we knew what to do, but we'd get referrals to these people in their 20s, using drugs, not home, running around, going back to hospital without us ever seeing them, and we thought, what are we doing? We have to do something different. Because mentally ill, you're very sick, just as sick as the others, but not lying down. We used to say they died with their boots on because they kept going to the last minute, a lot of reasons being addiction and what it takes to sustain your addiction. You've got to hustle, you need the money to get your next fix to keep going. So the fact that you're sick doesn't play into it. You're sick anyway, you're drug sick. We thought in the late 90s things could not get worse. There was a big commission on overdose drug deaths, and I think it was about 300 per year, and that was considered, it was bad. So we never thought things could get worse than that, but they are much worse. The streets are much worse. There's more homelessness, there's more poverty, there's more people down there, I think.
People.
And the drugs are more toxic.
And lack of housing.
Yeah. So there's many, many, many more overdose deaths from toxic drug supply. So the whole situation looks even worse in lots of ways.
Oh, my name is Irene Goldstone. Was a registered nurse, now retired, and in 1982, I went to St. Paul's to be director of the medical wards, and that exactly coincided with the AIDS epidemic. And so in that context, I met Ivana and Susan.
Yeah, but you're a bit...
Ivana and Susan were able to morph, as it were, their nursing skills from this whole new population. Although they called it action-based care, delivering care wherever people were. And that might be a food lineup. It might be one of the shelters, it might be on the street, it might be in the back alley. And they developed this concept of relational care, which was about building trust. So that they developed this strong bond with their patients, that they were absolutely reliable. And their relationship between them, in a way I liken it to mountain climbing. When you're absolutely dependent on the other person playing out their role, they could do that. They had this strong bond.
Well, I was born in Ontario, but I eventually ended up in BC on my own. Well, it was just the place to be. It was easy to get what I needed to get for my substances, like being an alcoholic and substance user. This is the place to be, right? My drinking got to be full-blown alcoholism, and I went to other substances like cocaine, basically more so like just crack, basically. I lived in the hotels down here, and basically I had cut myself on my ankle, on my right ankle, and it's just a little cut, it'll heal, right? And then because I assume it's because of my heavy drinking and drug use that my system wasn't able to heal, so it got infected. And then it got fully more and more infected, and basically started to eat away at my ankle all the way around, like the flesh and stuff like that. It's really not, it's gross, basically. That's what it was, yeah.
We were referred for wound care
It was for wound care,
And I
definitely.
think maybe it was from one of those hospitalizations.
You were bothering me. You bothered me.
Yes.
Like, here we go again. Here are these two, right? It wasn't very respectful. You know, like at times I feel ashamed of how I acted with them and stuff, but I would do my best to push them away as much as possible, whether using foul language or just, I've even slammed the door on their faces when they've come. I dodged you guys, you know, like I see you coming down the street.
And we saw you.
Oh, I know.
Despite the fact that you thought we didn't,
Yeah.
we certainly did.
Yeah, you know, so, you know, running across the street, you know, like it was just bothersome. Anything that would help me was like, just took time out of my day. It wasn't like, forget it, you were a hassle to me. Yeah, well, I lived in the Dodson rooms, right? And they had a bar there. And yeah, I did call it my living room, right? Because it was one of the bars that were open at 9 o'clock in the morning. There was a side part of the bar that wasn't being used, and it was closed off.
And the managers would let us use that spot to do wound care because it was a bit private.
I did take a beer in with me. Yeah, to have it being done. Like the legs were so bad, so painful. They were just always there. They were adamant in me getting the care that I needed. They were just there. They cared enough.
I think by doing just a little bit each day, which is all we were able to do, you hope for a better day for someone the next time. Even though for most of our career, unfortunately, we haven't seen people like you, Liz, that have gotten out of it.
It wasn't just about the addiction. It was how I would looked at myself and how I was with myself. You know, there's somewhere along the line where you just stop caring. I really sometimes don't like to feel that kind of emotion, but you know, they're worth that emotion because they basically saved my life. Right, the caring enough to hunt you down and just have that strength to keep going every single day and finding you to take care of you so you can survive one more day. These guys have been doing it for how many years? 40 years now?
Oh, yeah, at least.
Yeah, like, you know, 40 years, and even like day in, day out to get up and to come and go, oh, we got to see Liz again today. And I'm sure, and I wouldn't blame them if they did talk like that, you know. If they retired before I sobered up, I don't think I would have made it.
Oh, I've never seen that before, the memorial. Wow. Look at that. Oh, that is really nice. Some Bunny, is the name of the person? Yeah. Oh, so many women.
Oh, wow. I'm just thinking about the women.
Yeah.
How awful really traumatizing it was for everyone, but us in the community, because we knew some of these women
Yeah.
quite well.
And especially Riviera. Yeah.
Yeah.
When that was the icing on the cake for us.
Yeah.
When she went missing, it was so real and so horrible. She had strived for the women
Yep.
down here who
Yep.
had gone missing, and here she was herself. It was so awful. Yeah, you'd take it home and think about them. And as the police said, we always travel in pairs, and you guys have a cell phone, we have guns. So it's a dangerous area, and we were very aware of that.
We've sort of been, I guess, by other nurses saying, well, it's Band-Aid nursing because you're not really affecting change enough. We don't have that power. And I've always sort of rationalized it, well, at least we're doing this much. And that's really maybe all we can do. And I think Dr. Burgess has said keeping someone alive for another day, that maybe things might be different in the future. We have to keep that little bit in our brains to keep on doing it. Hey, Rick.
Morning. Oh, okay. Have a seat. We haven't set up yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Rest your weary bones for a minute. Maybe I'll have you sit on this chair. I don't think my nursing school, the nuns would approve of my dressing.
Yeah. Is it as green as it was? Now, Rick, are you still on antibiotics? I can't remember.
Yeah, I haven't taken them.
You haven't been taking them, so.
Tore my stomach.
Okay. Do you need another gauze?
Might be good to
Mm-hmm.
here soak the back.
Is there some that he won't eat? Is he like, no, he's pretty good?
You're a little piggy.
Oh, well, that's good.
I've been using quite a bit, yeah.
You have?
Yeah, probably half a gram a day to a gram. Just depends on how much money I got or how things are going.
That is how many injections a day are you?
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so whereabouts are you injecting? What part of your body?
Hands, taking a beating, arms, legs, everywhere. Yeah. Wherever you can find a vein.
And then how many times a week are the nurses coming to?
Anywhere from 3 to 4 times a week, yeah. Yeah.
And how do your legs actually feel? Are you in pain all the time?
Not really pain. They're more sore than in pain. I don't know if that makes sense or not to you, but yeah, I'm just getting tired. You know, like for me to walk a block and a half anymore, it's like takes wind. I'm winded, and you know, I guess I'm getting older.
I think where the rage unfortunately comes out is, and I'm only thinking of Rick, you know, somebody that, you know, where he just cannot get anything together. He can't get his act together at all. He is just so addicted and so wasted. He's, you know, looks 100.
Yes, he's aged so
He's
much in
aged
this
so much.
last year.
And, you know, over and over again, these legs that we get to a point blown. You know, it only takes a week. Yeah. And the infections are huge, extremely painful, and it's all to do with that crap. The stuff is just all on the street, it's cheap, and it's killing him.
And you're right, it does make, I mean, to see lives being wasted.
And that's soul destroying and makes us cross inside that we can't help him see that maybe tomorrow could be better.
I smoke rock, basically, is my drug of choice.
You've overdosed once or twice?
And that has been off something that someone has given me or something that I found. I told you that.
Yes.
When I found a baggie on the street. I don't know. I'm in a kind of a weird spot right now. I'm hoping it's a kind of a transition phase.
Well, you just lost your partner.
Yeah, I just lost my
sad.
partner 20 years, a few months ago. But I've been more in touch with my family recently. And they're out Surrey, Maple Ridge way. And they've invited me over a couple of times, and I've more or less made excuses. And but I want to get out of here. I want to get out of here. I need to get out of this district.
So that's an objective that you have is
Yes.
you're going to be quitting at least the intravenous drugs and,
Yes.
and really reconnecting with family again?
That's my goal. Yes, absolutely.
And along with that will come better health, I guess.
Yes, absolutely.
That would be so nice.
Yeah.
And so in a sense the nurses are helping you on that journey towards better health.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
Try to
Yeah.
get her to eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to eat that whole chocolate bar.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
It was actually December of 2015. I had been to a celebration and then with a friend at the Cactus Club. Anyway, I got to work and I was feeling quite unwell. I had lots of cramps, tummy cramps and all that. And so eventually went home. The next day I thought, well, everybody's bugging me. I better go into Emerge. And sure enough, I had a very large tumor. I was 80% blocked. And I had no symptoms. That was the first I knew of it. I had it all removed on the 16th of December. But because it was stage 3, I had to go for chemo. And so I started chemo 6 weeks later, and I was on chemo for 6 months. I went to work every day with the chemo, and I also managed to go to the gym as usual most days. And then just last year, in about March, actually a year ago, this year, the lung specialist said, no, we've watched this thing now for a number of years and it's grown a little bit. It's grown a bit too much. So I had my operation on the 26th of 2020, of October the 26th, and it was an adenocarcinoma. So it was another cancer, but not related at all to my colon cancer. Now, despite what Dr. Yee said, I took a long time to recover from that. It was very painful, and maybe that's why I'm still a bit tired, having, 2 types of surgery for cancer, but it's fine now, and today is today, and we'll worry about tomorrow when it comes. But for now, it's good. Everything is fine. I've worked since I was 17 years of age. I never had children. And so I didn't know you could be off work. I thought, what a concept that is. What do you mean off? Here, I need to get back to the one thing I do, which is work.
The way the pair of us work is what keeps me in it. And I just can't conceive of doing it on my own. It's just not something. You have to have a bit of fun as well when you're working and support.
We have 2 very different brains. They operate quite differently. And I don't remember what she remembers half the time, but I remember something else. Yeah. And so that whole combination of the 2 different brains functioning in different ways, like I happen to be mama to some of the patients and Susan's auntie. And that whole relationship, that whole relating to people and our 2 very different brains that produce what we need to make that whole thing work.
And the other thing is we're so well known as a pair down there. When Ivana was off with her surgery, it's like, oh, what happened? Where's the other one? Is she okay? Yep, she's okay. So we're well known together.
Wow. The thing I remember most about this place, remember I got attacked in the
that's right,
elevator it was a guy who was drunk, but he didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But then they wouldn't allow nurses to go in that building.
That's right.
For how many years?
Quite a while.
Yeah,
Quite a while,
until we
I think.
said one day, well, it's 8 floors. You can't not see people.
That's right.
In a huge building.
Right.
But then
Then the rats.
Then the rats and the mice. And the mouse was inside in a bag of bagels.
Was stuck in the bag.
In a bag of bagels. And we ran out of the room, so we had to come out into the hallway.
Yeah, that's right. We wouldn't go in his room.
You can come in my room. No, we can't go in your room. You got mice. We're not doing that. Sorry, but your leg may have to fall off.
That's right. Terrible nurses.
Terrible nurses.
Meant to
Remember
the stairs.
time we were with Dr. Burgess. And we were in the room,
Yep. Yep.
and I saw the mouse, but
Yep.
you didn't.
Yep.
But I screamed
Yep.
and ran. And what
Yep.
did you do?
I jumped on the radiator right next to the window, just jumped up there. And Dr. Burgess is going, "Get a grip." And which was stupid, because how could I get out of the room? Anyway, our patient, who was paying no attention to us on the floor, thought this was hugely funny, so it broke the ice. She started laughing. We did go out of the room. We made Sue go up to get the backpack afterwards, because we'd left the backpack up there. Yeah.
And then she thought we should go for treatment. I thought that was
Yeah,
really nice.
she-
I said, no, we'd have to pet her.
I said, "Sue, you know I have a phobia." She said, "I thought you were going to jump out the window." And I said, "No, the windows are Lexan. You can't jump out the window."
So I'm Dr. Susan Burgess. I'm outreach and family physician specializing in palliative care and HIV care in the Downtown Eastside for, 26 years or so. So I met Susan and Ivana probably in, 96, as I was going around finding out what was already happening. Street nursing was happening, and they were the mentors for actually the home care nurses. They joke around, they're kind, they're funny, but they're also got each other's back. The only thing they don't tolerate are mice. So they have a weakness, one weakness, that's mice.
We're not totally different. I mean, we have lots of things that we like doing besides drinking wine, which we love, but we do like going for walks together. We've often been to the spa at Whistler with our friend Sharon as well. It'd be nice to be able to do more things like that.
Yes,
to have
it
a
would.
bit more time to do things like that. And in the back of the mind is still the idea of maybe writing our memoirs sometime.
She gave her heart, her and Susan both, the two of them, they gave their heart and soul to what they're doing. And I think it's time now that they should enjoy their own lives and taking care of just themselves instead of hundreds of people. And there'd be a lot of people that'd be missing out, but they also need their lives. Because we're at the age now we have to take care of ourselves too.
Evanna and Susan are an inspiration to me. I think she deserves to retire when she chooses to do it. I'm neither looking forward to it or apprehensive about it. She'll just decide when that is, and when she does, I will certainly be in agreement with it.
What do you think will happen to your patients when you do retire?
Oh. Dr. Burgess will tell you they're not doing well. Because that intensive case management and nursing, that intensive nursing, that holistic nursing is what's needed. And it's too labor intensive.
As Ivana always says, anything clinical you can learn out of a book, but your empathy and your way of relating, that is essential. If you don't have that as a nurse, you're really not going to get very far.
We're not going to do the wound care today, maybe. That's what we're there for. But the person hasn't eaten, doesn't have a can opener to open that can. Well, that's your care for today. You're going to buy a can opener. So, and talking about other things, do you smoke, have a cigarette, or... Yeah. But it has to be...
Or they've run out of kitty litter, as recently happened. Someone had to suddenly isolate because she was diagnosed with COVID. And yes, the VCH team was coming, but she said, look, if I don't have kitty litter for my cats, I can't survive here. There's none. So we brought kitty litter because that's what she really needed in the moment.
Yeah.
So what fuels you to keep on giving care to people who are getting sicker and sicker?
In many ways, it is love for our
Yes.
for our patients, for the people we see.
They bring us a lot of joy because they can be very funny, and they weren't born down there. They have had lives, and we have lots of interesting, fun times with our patients, even though the reality is very sad. But we have lots of fun
Yep.
and hope that maybe something will change. And the other thing is your heartstrings are pulled so much when you see, I'm using Rick, in so much pain, because he is somebody that suffers with intense pain when he gets those really infected legs. And just seeing somebody in so much pain, I think as a nurse, you can't close your eyes to that.
We're a minimal barrier, safe, non-judgmental, non-sectarian organization, and we just try to create relationship and rapport with vulnerable people that have an inherent mistrust, typically, for people in power. You know, you need to be very, very patient. You need to be, use your humor an awful lot, which I've seen both of those ladies do before, and try to broker that trust quickly so that you're able to do a little bit more with the very small amount of time that they have for each person. There's so many people that want to see them on a daily basis. If we could replicate them 3 or 4 times and have them in different regions, it would be such a blessing for our organization and the people we serve. There are people that make an impact in the world that are irreplaceable, and we're going to find folks that are going to try to carry on their great work, probably in a slightly different way, to varying degrees of success. But we will continue to persevere and try to find ways to continue kind of the work that they've done.
I actually always think of this one day when I went out with them, and we were driving in the car going to another location to do just their regular wound care, and they get a call from a woman, like a community member on the street. I don't know if she had housing, but she was given Ivana and Susan's card, and she called them because her friend had really bad thrush, infection in the mouth, and this friend was not able to go to the doctor, wasn't willing. So all of a sudden, Ivana, Susan, and I, we turned the car around and we drove to her over at Pigeon Park. And Ivana and Susan, on the street in the middle of the day, did an assessment. They were able to get her antibiotics, all of this stuff within a matter of, I want to say maybe 20 minutes. It was like just a normal day for them. But for me, I was shocked that I'm just going and to the community and giving this nursing care to somebody that really desperately needs it, right? And then we just went back in the car just like nothing happened. So yeah, when I first started this job, I'd never worked in the Downtown Eastside. I'd never really seen someone under the influence of drugs. I'd never really seen the other side of addiction that people don't usually see. And it's quite shocking and jarring. I don't know if I would say that I was scared, but I think I was definitely caught off guard. I don't think they actually can be replaced. I think that the two of them as a team are very iconic within the Downtown Eastside. Everybody knows them, and if you ever see them work together, they don't even need to speak to each other. I would love to be as knowledgeable as them one day, and I know that working in the Downtown Eastside is definitely a passion of mine, and I would love to one day bring on the legacy that they have, because they inspire me a lot about giving non-judgmental and resourceful nursing care.
There we go. Turn your arm over. There you go. Okay, and then maybe one of us.
Oh,
this for you. Can you see it?
Thank you. And then I just need to find that artery of yours. Do you mind if I know. When the pressure's on, that's when you can't find it. I swear.
Always listen to what the patient says.
All those people we've lost.
That's right.
None of us had time to say goodbye, because
No.
they're just gone.
And it's even the survivors are so grief-stricken.
Yeah, yeah. How many memorials have we been to?
Oh, far too many.
Far too many.
think it could be about our 10th.
Yes.
Because when did we start this, Ivana? Was it in
the height of the HIV pandemic, when everybody, all those young men were dying in the prime of their life, we started to keep a record of that.
Just so we wouldn't forget.
Yeah, we wanted to remember these really brave people.
Oh, looking at some of these Shelley.
Oh my goodness.
Gosh, that was 2016 that she died. Oh.
We knew her when she was a beautiful looking woman.
Beautiful.
She used to work the night.
And she'd been a dancer before that. She'd worked as a entertainer, as a dancer before she came down here.
Oh,
and
Bruce.
We knew Bruce, how many years? We must have known him since the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went to, as you've said here, very, very frail.
Very frail.
HIV for so many years.
Yeah. Oh, Danny.
Yeah.
What a character. Oh, gosh.
Look how much you've written on Danny. Good
we
Lord.
knew him for a long, long time, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Remember, and he did go to the hospice. He went to May's place. And then he was often out and about on the street, sort of collapsing a bit, and sort of walking back to the hospice.
Dying with his boots on.
Yeah, he died with his boots on. That's a beautiful picture of Loretta.
Yeah. She had those big blue eyes.
Yep, she did.
Very pretty woman.
Yep.
Yeah. And she had beautiful hair. You know, the way it's
very thick and lovely. Yeah. Even when she was very sick, her hair was still really good.
How long have we known her now?
You know, I think it was the middle of the 90s.
Right.
She had just come out of hospital after big surgery and for cancer. She had HIV disease. She'd been diagnosed, and she was in the Balmoral Hotel with her husband.
We got called because something had gone wrong after her surgery.
That's right. And she wasn't taking her HIV meds very well, so she needed some support.
And unfortunately, even with lots of support, she never did take them very well.
No.
And then things start to go downhill again.
They did.
Drug use would increase.
Yeah, especially after her husband died.
Yes.
She really didn't recover from that, did she?
No.
Yeah.
She had a very hard life. Yeah.
She cheated death a lot of times. So when we got the call when she was in hospital in early February to come up to see her, we had a good visit with her, didn't we?
Yeah.
And she told us, she said, the doctor says I won't make it to my birthday, which was February 26th. And she said, I'm okay with that. She's an unforgettable woman, isn't she?
Yeah. And her struggles are over now.
Yes, she is in a better place.
I hope she is resting in peace.